And yeah, thank you. So, welcome. My name is Cleo Manuelian, and I teach at USC. I teach Intro to Yoga. Tonight is going to be a really soft practice for your nervous system, for the nervous system. So, nerves, the physical nerves throughout the body like to slide and glide. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. You're going to start lying down on a slippy surface, so on a rug, or I've laid down a blanket over the mat. And I'm so happy that some of you have turned off your camera. Feel free to turn off your camera and to really legitimately take care of yourself in the most generous way for this whole practice, whatever that means for you. So lying on the back, go ahead and exhale a few times. Just feel the weight of your body on the floor. This pose, if you're new to yoga, is called Shavasana. This is how we'll begin the practice and how we'll also close. And we'll infuse in this shape again and again, this pause, this moment, just to integrate, to arrive into the body. Letting go of all the to-dos today, all the comings and goings, the sending and receiving, whatever awaits you tonight. Sense the weight of the body on the floor. Go ahead and observe how the right shoulder is compared to the left shoulder. Does one have more contact with the floor? The right hip, the left hip, the heels, the hands. Just have a sense of where your weight is today. And then we'll begin just laying hands right at the top of the chest, underneath the collarbones. You can keep your elbows on the floor. And let your hands rest very, very softly. I don't know if you know this practice, Reiki, almost not even touching. A very, very soft touch. And breathe into the hands. Let the chest fill up as you inhale. And notice any softening, any loosening as you exhale. What's the elasticity like in your ribs? What's the capacity right now of the lungs? What's the breath like? Maybe you feel one side of the chest really breathing more, moving more. Don't strain. Let this be gentle. Just observing, touching in. And then go ahead, slide the hands down now to the bottom of the ribs where the solar plex is. You can even, if you didn't eat like a little dinner before this, I hope you didn't. You can even dig your fingers in and let your fingers dig in around the bottom of the ribs, the very bottom ribs. This muscle you're feeling is the diaphragm. And it's the muscle of breathing. It attaches all along the bottom rib, so you can palpate and feel this. Give it a little massage, sense in there. And then let your hands just rest and sense the movement of the belly when you breathe in, the chest, and sense the movement of the chest as you breathe out, and then the belly. And then slide the hands down again to the hip points, the front hip points, right on either side of the belly button. Bring your feet together, legs straight. Flex your right heel, press your right heel down into the floor. Flex it and slide it a little bit forward. Make your right heel, right leg a little bit longer than your left. Pull all 5 toes back of your right leg, straighten your right leg, keep the heel down, and just extend the right leg long. And see if underneath your right hand you can feel this muscle, the psoas, which pulls on the diaphragm. This muscle getting a longer, deeper stretch. And then release that action, let go of that. And just notice any shifts in your breath. I just got a nice exhale there. Let's do the other side. Legs together, ankles touch. Press down through your left heel and just slide your left leg longer than your right. Make your left leg longer. Reach from the inner groin all the way down to the big toe. And spread the baby toe away. Make the skin of the foot wide like a drum. And then release that effort. And now go back and forth between the two. Almost like walking, sliding one heel, the right heel forward, and then the left heel forward. Keep going, you're in your own rhythm. And underneath your hands, you'll feel your pelvis, one side of the pelvis rocking up, and the other side of the pelvis sliding down. Maybe you can sense it, a deepening of the abdomen, a drawing back of the belly. You know, it's a way of soothing the nervous system, this kind of sliding, gliding action. Stay with this left, right, sliding, gliding. And now reach the arms overhead, palms face up. And see if you can reach same arm and leg away from each other. So when your left heel reaches forward, reach your left hand back to the wall behind you. You might just hit pause at the end range of the motion and then slide the other side, right heel forward, right arm back. And you go side to side. Sometimes the front ribs, the solar plex, pop up. Keep as much of your body in contact with the floor and slide. So be more interested. It's almost like a side bend on one side and an opening on the other. One side gets short, there's like a crunch, and the other side expands and opens. Last couple like this. And then go back to Shavasana. Let everything drop. Maybe you get a yawn or some kind of release. Great. Again, touch the front hip points. Slide the feet on the floor, knees bent. Let's do that walking business again. This time your feet stay gummy to the floor. Your right knee reaching forward. It's like your left side is doing a little crunch. And then your left knee reaches forward. That's the whole movement. You go on your own. Maybe you can feel one side of the lower back is more sticky. The other side of the back feels really slidey. You know, maybe you have a habitual way of sitting at the desk or standing, you know, when you are cutting things in the kitchen, or a way of walking that is dominated by one side. Maybe you have a history of trauma. You fell off the bike, or you have a sports injury. Let's add hands behind the head. And when your left hip comes up, bring your left elbow down. And do that side to side action. So left knee goes forward, left elbow back. And maybe you even turn your head to look at the elbow as it slides back to the wall behind you. See if you can go half as fast and notice twice as much. You're in no hurry right now. Yeah, and then come to center when you're ready, and Shavasana, slide it all out. Notice any temperature change. Some kind of tension being evaporated. Okay, again, bend the knees, slide the feet on the blanket. This time, drop the left knee open to the floor and tuck the left toes behind the right heel. I'm showing here. Right hand reaches down and grabs the top of the left foot. Left hand behind the head. Breathe in. Flex your right toes. Keep the foot on the floor. Just lift the toes up. Lean the knee to the left and lift your right buttocks up. Lift your right buttocks up. I'm showing here. Do a little bit of a back bend, like your right knee is reaching away. And then with your head, turn your head and look down toward your right hand. That's the whole movement. Come back to center. Breathe in. And exhaling. Knee bows to the left. Lift your right buttocks. You know, you're using this inner border of the foot like a skier. Press your right knee away from you. And then you release. That's the whole movement. You're on your own. If I was there in the room with you, I'd put one of my hands on your left elbow and the other hand on your left knee, and I would push them away from each other. See if you can find that last couple like this. Don't crank anything. Be soft. One more. Yeah, great. And then drop it, slide it, let go. Maybe you feel a little pulsation now. You feel your nervous system a little bit. Tingling, twitching. Really organic way of unwinding. Let's do the other side. Slide the feet on the blanket, ground the feet on the floor. Drop the right knee open. Tuck the right toes behind the left heel. And hold the right toes with the left hand. Right hand behind your head. Flex the left toes, breathe in. And then let your knee drop a little bit to the right. Lift your left buttocks up and turn your head to look down at your left hand. Can you pull right elbow and knee in two different directions? And then release when you feel ready. Come back to center. Exhale into the movement. that left big toe on the floor. Keep the left heel down. One more time. What's it like on the sides of the abdomen? What's it like on the back waist? And then slide out Shavasana. Maybe you feel the pulsation of your heartbeat or of blood circulation. Or maybe you feel some change in the breath, in different kind of breathing. Yeah. Let's go back, bend both knees again, bend both knees, open the arms out to the side, breathe in. Take your feet as wide as your mat, as wide as your blanket, and then drop both knees to the left when you breathe out. That's the whole movement. You're on your own. Inhale. We'll go to the other side, to the right as you exhale. And then if it's available, turn your head the opposite direction of your knees. So when your knees point left, your nose points right. And see if you can move the nose and the knees harmoniously, synchronously. Is that a word? Synchronously? The synchronicity at the same time. So notice if your cervical spine, your neck moves faster than your lumbar spine, your sacrum, lower back. You can do that skier move. When the knees bow to the side, you can push off the back foot, contract that lower back, that same side lower back, glute med. Maybe you get some cracking somewhere in there. One or two more like this. We're going for the spine today. And then come back to center. Just let your knees drop together like this. Keep your feet wide apart, knees together. And feel. I say feel not just your heartbeat, but your aliveness. Feel some sense of appreciation to have this moment just to lie on the floor. Some appreciation for your body and your mind. Miracle of your breath, of your life, you know. Some softening. Yeah. Okay, and then hands behind the head. Interlace the fingers. And press the elbows down into the floor. Maybe for 5 seconds. 10 seconds, press your elbows down so much. And when you press your elbows down, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And that whole activity will lift the chest up a little bit. And then you can lift the chin up a little bit, like you're trying to look at the wall behind you. You might even open your mouth. And then relax all of that effort. Just let that go. You know, when you start to open up the ribs, when you start to open up the intercostals, the muscles between the ribs, you can really get a different kind of breath. Let's do it again. Elbows press into the floor. Pin the shoulder blades to the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Rock the chin up. Open the mouth. Really press elbows down. And this time as you exhale, keep your head on the floor. Just touch your elbow tips together. Go back and forth like a butterfly. Elbows pressed to the floor. Squeeze shoulder blades together. This is protraction. I'm sorry, this is retraction. And then elbows tapping each other. This is protraction. How wide can you spread your shoulder blades apart? So don't confuse this with pulling the head up off the floor. Really isolate the work in the shoulders. See if you can do the pressing part on inhale. To open the chest to get a big breath, and the tapping the elbows together on exhale. Going like this. Let's add a little bit of a diagonal. Inhale, the elbows press down. Exhale, elbow to opposite knee. Do a little sit up. Inhale, elbows press down. And then change. Other elbow to opposite knee. And each time you do that, make it a little different. One is maybe like a side bend. One is maybe more like a twist. You're in no hurry. Synchronize the breath with the movement. You want to add lifting the foot, bring elbow and knee together. That's great. Do that. This is pumping all of the cranial sacral fluid deep in the spinal column. Pumping it up to the brain, bathing the nervous system. Inhale the back bend. Exhale, elbow and knee. You're doing the back bend part, don't forget that. Don't let the crunch dominate. Maybe some of you want to kick the foot all the way up to the ceiling, straighten the leg, open up the sole of the foot. That's cool. Last couple like this. And then Shavasana. Let it go. Drop it. You know, it's so interesting, this business of relaxation. You can feel both awake and also calming simultaneously. Yeah, good. Slide both feet on the floor, bend both knees. Right leg lifts to the ceiling, then just lop it over the left leg. So knee on top of knee. Heel toe your left foot a little bit to the left. And then hold your opposite elbows overhead. I'm sorry, not overhead, just over your throat, your nose, something like that. Just straight up to the ceiling, I'm showing here. Let your right leg be a weight, way down on your left leg. Like your left knee can come towards the floor, like you're doing that skier move. Breathe in, and then draw your elbows to the left as you breathe out, and look at them. Elbows to the left, knees to the right. Come back up to center. Inhale. Knees to the right, elbows left. Keep going. And now, maybe let your nose and knees move together. So your nose and knees go to the right, elbows to the left. A couple more like this. Yeah. And then right leg up to the ceiling. Foot on the floor, left leg up to the ceiling, flop it over. And now change the clasp of your arms. Put the other arm on top. You can see them, they're right above you. Inhale, let your left leg be a weight for your right leg. Drop it to the left. And then go ahead, draw the elbows to the right and look at them. Come back up to center, breathe in. So you're twisting. Your knees go one way, your elbows, shoulders, head go the other way. I get some nice spinal adjustments out of this. Be nice, I just did. Now let's have the nose and knees go in the same direction. Last couple like this. Nose and knees to the left, elbows to the right. Yeah. And then Shavasana, let's take Shavasana arms overhead this time. Just Shavasana with arms overhead. Very loose, elbows bent, very loose. Yeah, great. Big floppy fish, roll over onto your left side. Lie on your left side, lie on your left arm like a pillow. Right foot on top of left foot. And then hold your right wrist overhead. And give yourself a nice stretch, like we did in the beginning of class. Right heel reaches longer than the left heel. Right hand reaches longer than the left. Let the rib cage drop into the floor. Sometimes we hike the ribs up, they jump up. There's a little bit of glute work here. There's a little bit of toning the tailbone forward and hugging the belly back. See if you can deepen the abdomen. One more breath. Do it on exhale. Yeah, good. And then just step your right foot behind your left leg. Bend the knee, step the foot behind the left leg. Look to see that you're in a straight line, so that your toes are just in line with your nose. And then slide the right hand on the floor away from you, away from you, away from you, away from you. Like you're gonna face plant, like your chest is gonna touch the floor, but it's not. You only go a little, some. Stay where your maximum range is, as far as your lower back will let you go. And then stand your right foot into the floor and see if you could press your right knee back to the wall behind you. You should feel that in your glute, in your butt. And then release. Knee comes back to center, your hand comes back to center. Let's do that a few times. Slide the hand on the floor away from you. Press the knee back to the wall behind you. Something right around your waist, a very deep twist in the back of the ribs, and then come back. You don't need to be with me. Your own rhythm is perfect. When your hand goes one way, your knee goes the opposite way. Last couple. Yeah, great. And then roll all the way onto your belly. Keep your right knee bent. Roll all the way onto your belly. Keep your right knee bent. So it's like you're lying in bed. Did you ever have that? Do you ever sleep like this? Right knee bent, lying in bed. Make a little pillow for your forehead, one hand on top of the other. And then tuck your left toes under. So your left knee lifts up, your left thigh bone is toned. You know, thigh bone lifts up, the quadricep is toned. Inhale, lift your head up. So, you know, we've done a lot for the lower back, the middle back, the upper back. You know, how high you come up is optional here. Some of you might not feel like coming up so high. Some of you might, you know, come up higher. And just sense what the difference is between the right side of the lower back, the left side of the lower back. See if you can sense what's happening in the shoulder blades. Let the shoulders drop out of the ears, shoulders down the back. You might even lift your belly button up. Maybe you can pull the skin of your belly forward, chest forward. Inhale, look up. That's it. Exhale, release, forehead to floor, slide your right leg out. Just prone Shavasana, face down Shavasana. Hit pause for 20 seconds, just feel. Good, and then roll onto your right arm. Side lying on your right arm. I'm going to flip around just so I can see you. Side lie on your right arm like a pillow. And then hold your left hand, hold your left wrist, and reach your left heel far away from you. So get a long waist. Part of the way you get a long waist is by letting the rib cage drop into the floor. And pushing through the top heel, pulling through the top hand. There is a little bit of engagement. So sometimes the buttocks drops back, it just gets like heavy. You need to contract a little bit around the tailbone to bring that forward and balance it by drawing the navel back. Relax the throat. Yeah, so nice. Okay, and then step the left foot behind you. Stand the foot on the floor. Right hand in front of you on the floor. I'm sorry, left hand in front of you on the floor. Left foot behind you, left hand in front of you. And then just slide out. Left hand, slide the left hand out. Until your face points down, until your chest points down. And when you get to your end range, you stay there and try and point your left knee back up at the ceiling. Don't let it come along for the ride. Feels like a twist right at the waist, right at the back ribs, at the kidneys. And then to release, slide your hand back to you. That's it. Inhaling, hand goes away. Exhaling, knee goes in the opposite direction. Let's do a couple more like that. You can hit the pause button anytime you want. You know, I mean just in your own movement. You just feel like, oh, you touched a sweet spot. You found something interesting, some place you want to linger for whatever reason, and then you do. Last couple. Knee goes one way and the hand goes the other. Can you max that out? Can you really reach them in two different directions? So good. Roll onto your belly. Keep the left knee bent. And then come up onto your elbows. So again, how high you come up is optional. One of the things that's most soothing for the mind is to do one thing at a time. And just the way our lives are, just the way our phones are, the way our computers are, demands a kind of multitasking. The way we run our lives demands a kind of problem-solving mentality, anticipatory problem solving. Let this left leg slide out, but stay upright. I like to tuck the toes under. You can keep the toes pointed if you like, but when you tuck the toes under, it really gives the legs some life, some energy to lift the knees up and dig the pelvis down. I would recommend this shape every day. If you do a lot of sitting work or standing work, it's just wonderful. This is how we started. Any of you who, have kids or no kids, this is the tummy time. This is developmentally how we all got strength in our back to hold our head up through, the difficulty of childhood. So this work allows the mind to do just one thing at a time, to drop out of the thinking, problem solving, and into the felt sense of the body, just into the pulsing, tingling, twitching, aliveness of the body, which is always in the present moment. And somehow miraculously, always has a safe haven for us, always has a refuge, a home base that's spacious, that's quiet, that's content. Okay. Go ahead, roll yourself down. You can make a pillow for the head, or you can turn your head to one side, whatever feels more restful. 40-second pause. If you have your head turned to one side, turn it to the other side. Okay, and then open up the arms. Open the arms out to the side like a T. Bend your left knee. Bring your left hand next to your chest and roll onto your right hip. Roll onto your right cheek. Step your left foot behind your right. You're opening up the front of this right chest. You want more intensity, push the left hand into the floor more. Turn more of your chest up to the ceiling. You can even bend both knees. I'm showing here both feet on the floor. You want less intensity. Don't push so hard. Have more of your chest facing the floor. And sense into what's happening in the neck, in the jaw, the molars, the space between the molars. Can you let that be spacious in the mouth and the tongue? Okay. And then release, come through center, lay on your belly. Slide the arms open to a T. Right hand next to the chest, bend the elbow, right knee bends. Step behind your left leg. And unwind, come back to center. Yeah, great. And then come to child's pose. If child's pose bothers your knees, you can lie on your back and just hug your knees into your chest. Otherwise, bring your big toes together, knees apart. And you can absolutely make a pillow with your hands for your head. If your butt can stay on your heels, you can drop your head to the floor, or you can put a blanket underneath, a pillow, a block. And then go ahead, both hands reach forward. Look forward, pull your chest forward. We're going to do like a similar kind of twist. Right hand next to the right knee. And then reach your left hand, out on a diagonal. Long left arm. Your left hand, like if you had a mat, it would be to the edge of the mat. And take a couple breaths to bow out the left side of the ribs, like a bow and arrow, to stretch out your left hip back, your left baby finger forward, to breathe into your left lung. Inhaling. Now as you exhale, push your right hand down into the floor and twist a little bit. Twist so that your right shoulder goes back, left chest goes forward. Twist so that your right ribs go back, left ribs go forward. I'm sort of pulsing up and down too. Maybe you twist and you can even turn the skin of your belly, the soft flesh of your belly over your right knee. Left buttocks back and turn. Yeah. Nice. I get that right on the inside of the left armpit. So nice. Such a wonderful length in there. Let's go over to the other side. Swap it out. Slide your hands over to the left. So this time if you had a mat, your right hand would be at the edge of the mat or, on the floor off the mat. Left hand outside the knee. You just spend a couple of breaths dragging the right ribs away from the spine. Like a crescent shape, like a parentheses. Really reach your right hand away from you. Let the right buttocks drop down. Straight arm, elbow up. Breathe in. And then with your left hand, push it to the floor and now begin to turn, to twist to the left. Let your left shoulder go back. Your right chest go forward. Let your left ribs go back. Right ribs go forward. Maybe you can even exhale and turn the skin of the belly over the left thigh. Good. And then release and come back to center. Roll yourself up to sit. Great. We're going to make this blanket into a pillow for your head. So folding the blanket. And if you have a sweatshirt or something to put over yourself to make yourself a little bit warmer, that would be great. If you have socks to put on, you could also put the blanket over you like a blanket. But we're going to use something for a pillow. So prop the head up. We're lying on the back again, and this time head supported Shavasana. Cross your shins, I'm showing here. Cross your shins right in the middle and let them drop open, the knees drop open. I'm showing this sitting, but you'll do it lying down. So cross the shins right in the middle and let the knees drop down. And then rest one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. And take a breath into the belly hand. And then alternate, take a breath into the chest hand. Again, your hands have a very light touch here. One breath into the belly, soft touch, becoming more and more subtle and sensitive with the awareness. A breath in the chest hand. Not trying to control the breath, but rather sensing how it is in this moment. Maybe you notice it feels easier or slower, or that there's just more sensation when you breathe into the chest or the belly. All of it is just a way of building mindfulness, as if you turned your radar, your scanner, your modem to receive more and more intimate information. Go ahead, change the cross of your legs, put the other shin in front, and swap out the hands. Put the hand that's on the belly on the chest, and the hand that was on the chest on the belly. And again, just witnessing in a really warm and a really friendly kind of a way how the breath is right now. Is the breath smooth or choppy? Shallow or deep? Yeah. And then go ahead, put both feet on the floor, have your feet wide apart. And you might need to just lift your hips to get a little bit more lower back in contact with the floor. Lift your hips, move the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels to get a little bit more lower back on the floor. And then drop the knees in together so that the knees touch, and rest both hands on the sides of the belly. Watch here, watch the breath come into the belly. I don't mean watch with your physical eyes, I mean watch with your felt sense. Watch with your awareness as the breath goes out of the belly. Maybe you see, does the breath go all the way out, partially out? Every other exhale, or maybe every third exhale, exaggerate that pattern. So put some effort into the exhale. Breathe all your air empty. This is through your nose. I'm saying some effort, but it's minimal. Get empty, stay empty, and just hover there for a moment, a beat, like a bird, a great bird, spread its wings, just hovering. And then take a couple of easy breaths. So every second or third exhale, get empty and hover. Feel the deepening of the abdomen. This spacious, expansive, open, wide inner world. What's it like when the breath flows in? Perfectly fine to have an irregular breath. Let it be spontaneous. Maybe one last time, a little bit of effort on the exhale. To hug the belly back, stay empty, spacious. Yeah. And when your breath is back to normal, go ahead and slide everything out into Shavasana. And now feel how much weight is there in the bones. Now feel the heartbeat. What's the pulsation of blood like? What's the movement of breath like? In the way you have intimately listened to yourself inwardly. Now begin to listen outwardly. Listen to all the sounds you can hear in your environment. The sounds nearby, the sounds far away. Notice that your field of awareness, like the spaciousness deep within the belly, is vast. That you have a capacity for wide open mind, wide open space between the eyebrows, wide open space between the ears. Maybe you sense these two polars, what's happening deep in the abdomen, in the pelvis, and what's happening deep in the cradle of the skull, the brain, the belly. Breath moving between these poles. The awareness as far away as you can hear and as intimately as you can feel. you have time and can stay longer, do stay longer. And if you're ready, let your next inhale be a little bit deeper. Bend the knees and roll to the side. Keep rolling until you come up to sit. Come sitting up, head last. And then touch the two hands together in front of the heart as you inhale. Lift the chest up. And as you exhale, bow the chin down. Thanking yourself for this time, this practice, whatever benefits you've received tonight. Give thanks for any blessing in your life, any person or circumstance. And then send all of these merits, all of these blessings, prayers out into the world with the intention that somehow this practice may uplift us all. Thank you for being here and your kind attention. Much happiness. Om Shanti. So lovely, so nice. Thank you. I'll be here for the next 4 weeks. And I'm happy to stick around tonight if you have questions or comments.